Ciao and welcome to IFA's Parents Panel, where we're going to talk with our students' parents about their children's decision to do a gap experience in Italy. These are going to be Q&A style sessions. First, we're going to briefly introduce you our student, and then we'll immediately give the floor to the parents. We're going to talk with them about their children's decision to do a gap experience abroad, from the pre-departure part up to their children's future plan. And most importantly, we're going to ask them what is the impact that this is having on their children and the support that they gave them. Today, we're going to talk with Maria Forte. She's the mother of Matt, one of our gap year students currently based in Naples. Matt is in his 20s and is actually not the first time that he's in Naples. This is because his mom's parents came from there. So he's also using this experience to reconnect with his Italian roots. But now I want to leave the floor to Maria. So let's get started with our Q&A session. Thank you so much, Maria, for being here with us today. So, Maria, first of all, I want you to introduce a little bit yourself, your son, and we were talking before, and you told me that you are an atypical mom with a bit of like of a situation. So, let me know what you meant with that.
Well, what I meant was, normally a gap year is before college or after college, and Matt is sort of in between because he was trying to find what he wanted to do. And he began college during COVID, and the world shut down, and he didn't go back for a while. And when he went back, he found his love for music. And in so doing, he began singing all the old Neapolitan songs. And he used that to learn the Neapolitan language to be able to speak to my mother. But as he progressed, he became so interested in the language, he started comparing it to Italian. And he's always wanted to go back to Italy. He was there when he was a child because my family is all from there. My parents were immigrants from Italy with my two older sisters. So he grew up in a very Italian home around my mom and my sisters were all very close, and so he always wanted to go back to Italy. So when my other son graduated college, they went for a couple of months, and while he was there, he said, "I don't want to come back. I need to find a way to stay, and I want to learn the language better." So I went looking, and your program had the academy in Naples, and he wanted to stay in Naples so that he could be close to our family, which is just 20 minutes outside of the city. And so I called up and I spoke to Annetta, and the rest is history. And now he's been there for 5 months taking classes. He's taken the B2 level exam already. I'm waiting to hear on that. He's got his soggiorno di permesso. So
Permesso di soggiorno, permesso di soggiorno.
soggiorno, I always reverse it. And he, and he'll have that for a year. So now that he's learned Italian so well, he is trying to determine what his next step is, because I think he would like to either go to the Conservatory for Music or to Orientale for languages. So this whole experience has led him to realize that he really loves life in Italy, especially Naples, and that's where he wants to be. That's where he wants to start his life, which is just amazing to me, you know.
That's so nice. Thank you so much for this introduction. Basically, you already covered so much. So I just want to take a few step backs. So you were telling me that your family is from Naples or like from close to Naples, and that
Right.
your parents moved to the US with your older sisters. So do they ever speak a bit in Italian with Matt? Because I remember when I met him, he told me that he knew more Neapolitan dialect than Italian when he
Oh,
arrived to Italy. And so that's also why he's doing our courses, of course.
that's right. Well, yeah, I mean, he started taking Italian lessons in school, but then realized that Nonna was not speaking Italian, but was speaking Napolitan. So he then uh, believe it or not, found an online course and learned Napolitan so that he could communicate with her, which he did before she passed at 95. But he did get to impress her with his language and his music, and he made her very happy, and I'm sure she's still very happy.
I'm 100% sure because I mean now he's back home, so it's back
Yeah.
to Italy.
He is currently, well, he's living in the city, or when he's not in the city, he's in our town apartment, which is the apartment my parents started their family in.
Yeah, he told me that sometimes he also goes to visit the family.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so nice. And you
Yeah.
told me that he he had a bit of like of a rough time with his studies. He stopped the college, then he COVID hit and everything. So how did he realize that he wanted to go to Italy? And especially why? What do you think was the main reason? Just to get closer to the family? Because he already knew that he wanted to go to the conservatory? What do you think was the main reason?
No, conservatory came later.
Okay.
He really wanted to go to perfect the language and to see what life was like over there. And then of course to meet all the family, because unfortunately we're a family of six and we weren't able to go to Italy often. So he had only been there when he was young. And all my first cousins are there. I don't really have any relatives here other than my sisters and their children. So he really wanted to meet the all of the family and see where my parents came from, you know.
Okay, no, that makes sense, absolutely. And do you remember the specific moment when he told you that he wanted to go to Italy, and how did you react?
Well, he's been saying it for a number of years. So in the beginning, I was very nervous. I was like, okay, I didn't believe it would be something he could do. Um, I was, he's my oldest, so, I've done for him all the time. So I was a little nervous that he couldn't do it. So I encouraged him like go to college here and go to a study abroad program. But school really wasn't his thing at that time. So when he was in Italy on vacation and he said, I just want to stay here, um, we started looking into programs and we found yours.
Okay, so in the end, you were a bit worried, but
Once I spoke to Annetta and she made it very easy. And I knew that, um, you know, they were setting up the apartment. They were meeting him. He was going to be in an apartment with other students from the school. Um, and I knew that it would be okay. And then I always knew my family was only half an hour away.
okay.
So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, he can do this.
You mentioned Annetta, which is one of our counselors, and she's, of course, one of the first touch points for students and for parents, just like you and Matt. So, what made you understand that Italian for a while was the right option for you? Because you said that you started looking for different programs, so I imagine like it wasn't the only option, but what was it that really made it click for you? Okay, I'm gonna send Matt with them.
Location was a big deal for us because we did need to, like I said, he wanted to stay in Naples. And honestly, Annetta made it very easy. She sent me all the documents. She walked me through everything. Anytime I was feeling nervous, I could reach her and ask her more questions. She really walked us through the whole process of getting the visa. She met with us a couple of times before our visa appointment, just to make sure that we had all the documents in place, and extra. Um, so she really told us what to expect. It was it was good. I mean, we did go for the visa, and he was first rejected. Um,
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a bit about these because I remember Anita told me that there was a bit of problems, but
mhm.
what happened?
One of the issues was it wasn't, they didn't like the way it was written that he had the apartment. They wanted it to be clear, more clearly written. But it was nothing. They wanted the wording to be different.
So then he reached out to Aneta to let her know that he didn't get the visa, and what happened next?
She rewrote the letter as they requested, and we had another appointment a couple of days later. So we went back and we brought that. There was also another thing. They wanted to prove that he could speak some Italian, which which was ridiculous because they they said, "Oh, you're going to Italy to learn Italian? Well, then talk to me in Italian." So he struggled and talked the whole conversation in Italian, but then they wanted proof that he had some Italian.
Yeah.
And all of his Italian was learned because of on his own, you know. He had taken some intro course in high school, but that was it. All the other Italian he had learned on his own just by teaching himself.
Yeah.
So I I think Aneta may have what we did, we went online and we found some quick quizzes to prove that you knew the language or something, and we printed them out. And they gave you a certificate and whatever. They accepted it. So,
Yeah,
you know.
no, we are actually considering about moving forward, introducing some basic level of Italian courses because we have been noticing that many consulates right now are starting to asking way more proof to go to Italy that you know a bit of Italian, which, as you said, it's kind of strange. I mean, if I'm going to learn the language, but I mean, it's something that it's already been taken care of, and it's also thanks to like all these processes of helping so many students that we can every time refine the kind of
Well,
service that we can give them. So it's also thanks to what happened with math, and it happened to a lot of other students from
right.
other areas of the US. So it's also thanks to that that we now can work every time to give a better service. So that's also why we always ask to speak with the students and speak with the parents, and we ask for reviews because there's always like an ongoing process. Regulations change, requirements change. So that is very important to know. But anyways, so we're back to Matt is in Naples, is close to his family. And of course, as you said before, knowing that the family is there was a very big plus. But also, you mentioned that Aneta was always there to give you constant support. So I just wanted to ask you to expand a bit on this because I mean, we have these 24/7 support for our students, and it's not just on the pre-arrival, but it's also once they're here, if they have any problems with the apartments or like if they just feel alone. So just let me know what Matt told you and how you perceived these.
Well, I know that after a couple of months in the apartment, we decided for various reasons to try and find some other apartments. And Annette has been very helpful with that, giving us different links. He's currently staying in town and traveling back and forth. He takes the train every day into the city, like he would here. Um, and that seems to be working out for now. But whenever it came to questions with the apartment, and he'd reach out to Aneta, or there was another contact that you guys provided for us, um, it was nice. It was a nice apartment. They came and they would come in once a week and do some cleaning and change the linens, which for a young guy for the first time on his own was a big plus. It was just something, you know, that it was a nice plus, and I was glad to know that he was living in a clean place.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And I mean, this is just one of the examples because I'm thinking with other students that there were other ways in which Aneta provided support.
and,
So, I
and
mean,
also Serena,
yes,
um,
yes, yes.
she's been very, very helpful. Anytime Matthew has had to go to any office for anything to get documents or whatever, she's been very helpful to him with printing them out, telling him, explaining. I think she's actually made phone calls for him to the conservatory and helped him out with that. So, I mean, really, it's, anything I tell him, blah, 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 blah. He's like, oh, okay, I'll go to find out at school tomorrow. So it was really nice to know that everybody at school was so helpful, with everything that he needed so far. He's been able to ask them,
Yeah.
and they've helped them if they can or they find out, and then forget about all the people he's met. It's incredible. Every day he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm hanging out with this one. I'm going with that one." I'm like, "Wait, which one is this one? Oh, this one's the one from Germany. This one's the one from Norway. Brazil." He's meeting people from all over the world. Who would have thought it? You know, but
Yeah,
he's really meeting
absolutely.
people from all over, all
I
over.
remember when I went to visit Naples in November last year. He introduced me to other friends of him, and I saw I think actually two or three of his former roommates. So
Yeah,
we had a coffee all together, and they seemed so happy there,
yeah,
and it was so nice. I mean, it was another proof, if you
yeah.
want to put it that way, that he made the right choice. And at the time, he still was studying for the language B2 exam that he had to do, and he told me about the conservatory. So he was very anxious.
He's very excited to get his life going. He's still not sure which way he's going, whether it's the conservatory or the music or languages at another school. But he's very excited, and he's found a life there, and he has so many friends, and he plays the mandolin. So he's met people throughout the city who play the mandolin, and everybody has been so kind to him. He met one gentleman who played, and they've met up a couple of times to play, and he invited him to his home and met his family and had, spent a Sunday with them. He met another gentleman in the city with the mandolin who had gone to the conservatory and said, "Oh, I'll help you, you know, I'll help you navigate that, and I'll give you lessons for the entrance exam." So he's meeting up with him, giving him lessons. He's met the German girls, and his roommate was a Norwegian guy, and he's had so many friends now. He had a big birthday party for his birthday in December. It was so nice, that he has connection with so many people, that I don't have to worry about him being alone. Because honestly, back here, he did find it very difficult to meet people. And, for a long time, he was somebody who just always stayed home. He was somebody who used to be on his computer gaming all the time. And now I don't even think he has a laptop with him to be doing gaming, and he's out all the time and he's meeting new people. He just met an artist on the train and he started talking to them and they started talking. So he's flourished, he's blossomed, he's really come out of his shell. And you know, even if he doesn't come out with a career, he's really experiencing uh, uh, an, an, a once in a lifetime adventure, you know?
Yeah, and that's also actually what he told me. When I was there, I asked him, "Why are you thankful for this experience?" And he told me just the chance to be here, it's already something that it's life-changing to me. So I can really see like that what he said and what you perceived, it's really on the same page. So
Yeah, I mean, how much he loves it. He's planning to come visit. And I'm like, how long, get the tickets. How long do you want to stay? He's like 2 weeks. I'm like, only 2 weeks? I'm like, can you stay a little bit longer? He's like, well, I want to not, he goes, I'll come and see everybody. He goes, maybe 3 weeks, you know. So he really just loves his life there.
so nice to hear. And what do you wish that he could learn from this experience, other than what you said, like he got out of the comfort zone and he got out of his shelf? What else?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely out of his shell. He's definitely out of his comfort zone. He's understanding really what it needs to live on his own. Um, he's taking care of everything that he needs to take care of on his own, laundry and cooking. He's now, he's cooking his own meals, he's doing his own food shopping, all that stuff. If he was home, mommy would be doing it. So I'm really glad for him that he's grown so much in so many ways. I just wish that the life that he is imagining, you know, comes out. I hope it works out for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I can totally understand. And do you think, regarding what you just said, do you think that this experience will actually be something that could help him in his future life, work?
Without a doubt, he's a changed person because of it. He's a changed person. He's more confident, which is the biggest thing. He's confident, and he's more independent. Um, and he's proved to himself that that one of the dreams he had when he was younger came, came true. So dreams do come true. Just being in Italy is a dream come true from him. So, and then living on his own in Italy is another dream come true. So, it's been, we were very fortunate to find your program because without it, I don't know if he would be having such a good life right now.
That's, I mean, like, I know also speaking with Annetta and the other counselors, this is always the best part, you know? When we see that our students are happy, then the parents are happy, that they're growing, that they're stepping outside of their comfort zone. That's always the biggest of rewards.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Thank you.
he's definitely grown a lot. I miss him terribly, but what are you
Yeah,
going to?
that's actually something that I want to cover with you now, like how you handled the departure of Matt and how you manage to stay in touch. How often do you hear from him and how you holding up all these things?
Well, departure was tough. It was very hard. It was really hard, but I knew it was something that he had to do, and he was ready to move and start his own life. So
So you knew it was something that was for his own good, basically.
yeah, absolutely. It
Oh,
was for his own good. I mean, at the time, I didn't realize how well he was going to learn the language. But I knew he had to do something to learn his independence, you know.
yeah,
So
absolutely. And now, are you talking with him? Is it just text? Maybe you have some calls. Are you thinking of visiting him there?
yeah, I would definitely. I almost went this week because my other kids have off from school. Didn't happen, but I speak to him at least once a day, if not more. We WhatsApp most of the time, voice call. If he's in good reception, we do the video chat. It's like he was just in another town. I call him, he tells me, how his day was. I tell him how my day was, he'll call, complain about whatever, it's still the same. I'm still here for him. Uh, and although there is a big time difference and he does start his day, I'm still asleep. That's a little hard, because sometimes he does need me first thing in his morning. But I have my phone next to me all the time. So if he needs me, he texts. And if I hear it, I wake up. And if I don't hear it and he really needs me, he calls. And then I do hear it. So I'm always available to him. And he's always there, for me when I need to talk to him because I really do miss him a lot.
Makes sense. But you
Going
seem happy, so you know that it's worth it, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I tell him it's funny, I've been missing him quite a bit lately, and I keep telling him that. And he goes, Mom, why are you making me feel guilty? And I'm like, I'm not. I just want you to know I really do miss you. I'm not making you feel guilty. I'm glad that you're there, but you
That's
know,
nice.
and if anything, we're a plane ride away. So
Absolutely. And so you said that you wanted to go visit. Are you planning to go?
yeah, definitely. I'm hoping to go in the maybe in the spring when it gets just a little bit warmer.
Yeah, makes sense. Absolutely. And Naples, it's just stunning in spring, summer. There's so many things to do. He's a local now, so of course he's gonna bring you around.
Yeah, yeah, yes. I
Amazing.
have well, I have three other kids, but I have two that are still in high school. So it's a little difficult for me to
To
disappear on
arrange. Yeah,
that.
absolutely, absolutely. But I'm sure you'll manage, and I'm sure that he's gonna bring you around like a local.
He's gonna come home in June for a little bit because one of his cousins here is getting married. So he's gonna come home for the wedding.
That's so
So
nice.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, no, no, that's very nice. It's important to keep like points of contact throughout the year, especially because I've heard that he's thinking of staying more. I mean, we know that he decided to extend his stay in Italy. And so
Yes,
can you tell us a bit more about it? Like he got the residence permit.
yes, he did. He doesn't have the card in hand yet, but they told him it would expire in a year.
Mhm.
So that gives him a good amount of time to figure out what his next step is. Like I said, he's in contact with some people who are helping him navigate apart to applying to the conservatory. But he's also not quite sure he wants to um, make music his focus because he really does love languages. You know, like I said, he's learned Italian, Napolitan. He also speaks a little Russian. So, he may want to go to the university there for languages and do something with that, with teaching and interpreting or whatnot. So
Do you think that your child's future is gonna be in Italy?
I do believe that's very possible. I do. I do. You know, I mean, he still has to apply to these schools and get in. And, and if he gets in, then he'll be there for a while. If he doesn't get in, then he has to figure out how to stay, to get work. Um, and, I don't know how that works with staying there, but he will find a way because he really, I think that's where he wants his life. He loves the food. He loves the natural food, so less processed than here. He loves the nature, he loves the city. So he loves being around the relatives there. So, you know.
Yeah, and then you said that for the residence permit, he has time, right? So, I mean, it's up to him to take this time to decide whether he wants to stay or not.
Well, I know he wants to stay. So, it's just a
That's
matter of,
already that's already the first step. Then he has to understand what to do then, basically.
yeah. Well, he has to go to school, get a career, get married. That's all his plans there. He'd
It's
love
a
to stay
plan.
there.
That's so nice. That's so nice. And did you see him like worried during the process of the residence permit, or is there something that came up like as a struggle to him?
Uh, n- n- you know, he was nervous about it, but I don't think he was that worried because, once again, he's speaking to Annetta, making sure he had all his documents in place. Um, I don't think he had any concerns. I don't think he was really worried about it. So,
Okay, so also here the support of Aneta was really helpful for him as well, right?
oh yeah, absolutely. She definitely helped him get all his papers in a row, and and Serena at school was very helpful as well.
Yeah, I met Serena when I was in Naples as well, and I know that she helped him a lot
Yeah.
with the preparation for the B2 exam. So yeah, yeah. I mean, the touch points are
Thing
multiple.
that was another thing that they provided because he had decided to take this exam and it's only given twice a year. He suddenly had to take this exam that he wasn't really thinking about. Um, he had like what 4 weeks time to prepare for it. So he was able to get a little one-on-one tutoring to help him really face that exam because he had no idea, what it was like, what he was in for. But, it's like one of our state exams here with several hours long with an oral, a written, a reading. So there was all these parts to it. So yeah, so it was great that you guys were able to provide, tutoring for that specifically for the exam for him after school hours.
Yeah, absolutely. That's always something that we can do with the students. If they tell us that they need some extra time, we always contact the schools and arrange for them to have extra time. And I
That
remember Serena told me that Matt was actually doing some extra classes before the exam. So I mean, it's like the multiple touch points. He talked to Aneta, he had this opportunity for the exam, then he organized the extra classes together with the school. So, I mean, everything fell into place at the right time, and so he could do the exam.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not only that, the school administered the exam.
Yes.
So
Yes,
he
because every school can get you the certifications that you need.
yeah, he was in a comfortable atmosphere of that he was, new. So that helped with the
Yeah.
exam as well.
Definitely, this is something that a lot of students tell us that they didn't have to go like to a third party alone and nervous, but it's already inside the school so that they already know the ambience and like to know what to expect. So that's very important. Definitely, absolutely, I agree. One question for you about like some tips that you would give to other parents that maybe would be a bit more concerned that you were when Matt decided to go.
I think that they have to realize that anything you can get here, you can get there. People are usually much more helpful than you expect them to be. Um, there's there's point persons to go to, so they're not completely alone. And and they'll figure it out because everything is right there. You know, there's there's not much like what could be difficult. There's food, there's shelter, there's people who they can reach out to for help. So there's really nothing to be worried about. It's just a wonderful experience.
You told me that Anita made it super easy for you. Was there something else that really caught your attention?
I think just having the place for him to live.
So taking
Uh,
care of accommodation from our side
yeah,
plus.
yeah.
Okay.
Having the accommodations set, and somebody meeting him there that day when he arrived. Um, I think that was the biggest thing for me was that somebody was there to show him, give him a place, and he was settled. He had a place to stay. That was the biggest thing for me.
Okay. So there wasn't like any surprise, something that you wish you had known, but you didn't.
No, because he figured everything out on his own. We made sure he had a credit card to use at the ATMs and that he uses when he's there. When he got there, his phone had some a service, but then he went and got a SIM card. So he has an Italian phone number that allows us to do the WhatsApp, you know. I mean, I think the scariest thing for me is, you know, I know he's going out and, you know, I have younger kids. So on my younger kids, I always have their location.
Yeah.
But with him over there, I don't. I don't have his location. So, I know he's taking the train back and forth, and, it takes a lot of faith not knowing where they are every second. But, kids have to grow up and live their life, and you can't know where they are every minute. So, I think that's the biggest fear of mine is knowing that I don't know where he is at the moment, or who he's with.
What would you say to a parent that it's a bit like uncertain?
You have to let them go. How can you keep them from experiencing this? I know it's just to learn Italian, but it's so much more. It's the confidence, it's the independence, it's the adventure, it's just meeting so many people. You can't you can't replace that.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And I thank you so much again for all this information. And I'm sure that this is going to be so helpful to so many other students and so many parents.
I hope so. I'm always here if any parent wants to talk to ask about it. It's a tough thing letting your kid go. So I get it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Maria, really.
Well, thank you for hearing our story. And wish you well. Have a great day.
Thank you.